You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Teen Wolf After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Teen Wolf After Show.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Bing is and we're here doing another AfterBuzz TV after show for MTV's Teen Wolf Season 3, Episode 4, Unleashed. Sitting next to me today is Sara Stretton, AfterBuzz TV host. I'm, of course, Kristen Snyder. And sitting across the way, our first special guest this evening is a writer, director, and editor who has worked on films such as Children of the Corn, Lineage, Hellraiser, and TV shows such as WWE Tough Enough, Making the Band, Top Model, and most recently, Teen Wolf. Please welcome Alyssa Clark.
All right.
And sitting next to her, our next special guest this evening is a writer, director, and voiceover artist who has worked on films such as Sleep When You're Dead, video games such as World of Warcraft, and TV shows such as The White Rapper, The Man Show, and most recently Teen Wolf. Please welcome Jesec Griffin.
Here we are. Here we are.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for the Children of the Corn shout out.
7.
It's Children of the Corn 7.
Children of the Corn 7.
Yeah. There we go.
Let's be specific,
Yeah.
just like Teen Wolf.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you guys don't know at home, they actually wrote this episode, Unleashed.
Round of applause.
Thank you so much
Our
for
parents
being
are
here.
very proud.
Yes.
They should be.
Actually, I don't think my parents watched it, but his parents did.
My mom called me after the episode aired. She's like, "Oh, you know, you did such a nice job there, you kids. So good job there." So.
Has she been watching the
Oh, yeah.
past seasons?
Yeah,
So
they're
she's
really
a huge
good.
fan.
Yeah.
I really like the accent there, by the way. Was that an accurate impression of the mother?
Dead on. Dead on.
Yeah, Vicky will be very proud of
She'll
that.
be
They
very
are from
proud.
Minnesota. They don't quite sound that like that. but-
Alyssa also edited the episode.
I did. Yes.
So you've worked many hours on this episode alone. How many hours? Can you just give us a guesstimate on the writing, the editing? How many hours do you think you worked on this episode?
I'm not very good at math, so once we get past like 100, I'm lost. But it was at least that.
It's in the hundreds.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's in the hundreds of hours.
She stopped working to actually come here tonight to promote the show and give us some inside information for you guys at home. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
You're welcome. The check will be when?
Yeah, probably now.
So we got I really loved this episode because everything sort of started coming together for me, and I have some wild predictions because there were some words dropped that made me point fingers at specific people, and thank you guys, because now I think I'm really starting to understand everything that's going on this season.
We are here to shine the light for you. Jeff totally okays us giving away all the spoilers.
Yes.
Oh, great. Just kidding, guys. No spoilers. So there was some locker room nudity. We got some brutal murders and some wet T-shirts.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's so much drama already in this season. We're only at episode 4, and that's like a huge sign of great writing. So, again,
We
thank
like
you.
to keep it light. Yeah, suicides and murder and human
So happy.
sacrifices. And
Yes.
yeah, it's
Good job,
fun,
guys.
It's fun.
Lighthearted family moods.
You know, a lot of shows.
The dog lives. The dog lives. So.
That's all I was worried about.
really, right.
Not gonna lie.
No, yeah, no, me too.
We would have some serious problems. I mean, if Bullet was gone and that guy was still alive,
Yeah. No. Unacceptable.
he might be facing some troubles.
Unacceptable.
Fans would have written you letters.
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and jump right into my favorite plot point of this episode and of the season, I guess, is the sacrifices, the ritual sacrifices. I think that what we can take away from this episode is just follow Lydia, and you will get to wherever there's going to be a missing person, dead body.
She seems to have that knack, doesn't she?
Yeah, the poor girl. I mean, she has not had it easy for 3 seasons, but I think this season, I think she's really coming into her own And even though it still seemed like she wasn't quite in control of what was going on last night, like I think she really is starting to get, all right, something really happening, and I need to, you know, I need to pay attention to it. So instead of just like freaking out, she's like, all right, I'm gonna call Stiles. I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna like be
After she calls the police.
But
Big mistake.
This episode, she called Stiles first.
It's true.
She learned her lesson.
learned
Good point.
Slowly but surely. Who'd have
I feel like she's gonna get promoted to sheriff. Stiles is gonna be jealous,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Well, let's start with deputy. Maybe deputy. Yeah.
but Sheriff Stilinski, he really needs some help. He does. Like, he is like out there trying to deal with the FBI. He doesn't even have time to figure out who is responsible for these murders.
Yeah, he only knows half the story. As
Exactly.
Stiles
It's
said.
really hard to
Yeah.
operate when you don't. This huge chunk of the world is missing from your mind.
Absolutely.
And we have Stiles in this life or death situation where he still has his virginity. And Lydia, like, he's been there for you. I really think that she's logical and she would understand that she needs to help him with this small favor. I mean,
Maybe if it
what do
was
you think?
presented that way, but I'm sort of the belief that like, I don't think Lydia has ever led Stiles on.
No.
I think Stiles has had a crush, but I don't think it's her job to answer his crush. Unless Stiles, you know, unless he does something that she starts to see him in a different light, then I would be, you know, like. Right now, like Stiles is starting to become her buddy, right? Like,
Right.
She's very gracious about it in a way. Like she's kind to him. She fills him in. She's not like pushing him away because she knows he has a crush on her.
Right.
She's very nice.
I really feel like they're forming a team human here, like Lydia, Stiles, and Dr. Deaton. Like, we have all the supernaturals teaming up, and I'm so happy that we get this team human.
But is Dr. Deaton really completely human? There's something else going on there.
Well, I really like what Stiles goes to him and says, you have the answers, like, why haven't you been helping? And he's like, oh, I was scared to I've been scared of this would be happening or whatever. So why didn't he help before this?
I think that there's, in my mind, I put out that there's like some big event that we're missing out of his life. Like he mentioned
Some dark secret in his past, perhaps?
something.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, he mentioned that he's been around the werewolves since the original pack of the town. So something happened there in my mind that we're going to find out later.
he's been spending many years trying to forget, right?
Yeah.
Trying to forget something. But this was my favorite part when we finally got to the answer that, yes, it's the Druids. And we got some answers from Dr. Deaton finally, after seasons of wondering what this mystery was.
Right.
He's finally giving in to Stiles, which good for Stiles actually realizing who has the answers in this town and who he should go to. So we find out that the Druids, in Gaelic, it actually means wise oak. And they were philosophers and scholars, and they weren't serial killers. And when Dr. Deaton was talking about the scholars, that actually made me think of someone who's new in town, which I don't want to say because I think that could be, you know, I think it... I
mean, you're allowed to say. I don't know if
they are not allowed to say, but I also don't want to get like ahead of the game and point out anything. I will just
don't want to be
say
proven wrong.
You're
in, like,
welcome.
2
You
weeks.
are
You can put some
totally
cash
scared.
right out on the table.
I will make
See what
bets. I will
happens.
get the quarter. I will take the risk.
Take the
You are welcome to make whatever predictions you want. I mean, and I think my expression the whole time will probably be like this.
I'll stare like
Poker
this.
faces.
I'll stare really intense. You guess, and we'll see
Guys,
what happens.
Tune into YouTube to see their faces. Maybe we can get some answers on their face.
God, that'd be a waste of your evening. But,
So the Druids were close to nature, and they believed that they actually kept it in balance, which I really love because some people get so crazy and psycho that they do things that in their mind benefits nature and balances things out. And we find out that these killings are actually groupings, which a type of power is given from a certain group of killings. So we had the 3 virgin killings, which represents a certain power, and now we heard that it could be 3 healers, 3 philosophers, or 3 warriors, which clicks in Lydia's mind that and Stiles that it could be a soldier.
right.
So that kind of takes us in the direction that it's not people with puppies, as Stiles warns Lydia about, but it's actually people who have military background, which we find out that the guy from the beginning, when he's talking to Scott, he said, you know, I'm from a military family, and then Boyd also, you know, reaffirms that, saying that he was in the ROTC with him. And that's when we're taken to Lydia, remembered as Mr. Harris, and we get, my favorite scene was the music room scene.
Yeah?
The fluke state where she just ends up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the music room scene too.
That was a
lot.
lot of fun.
I mean, people were saying on YouTube that they just love the music this season, and so do I. Like, I've been looking it up, and the composing Dino, I can't wait to bring him in.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It just really draws you into the
Dino is
scene.
not going to be able to get in here
He's
until
too busy.
until 3:12. Try to get him in for that because that's when we're going to see him again. I just left him with several notes
But
before.
also in that scene, that was also Laura helped pick out some of the music for that. Laura.
Oh
Webb,
yeah,
the
Laura Webb,
Laura.
music supervisor. Yeah, what I was trying to do with that scene, well, as writers, it's interesting in the writing process because originally that scene was much longer. There was actually a music teacher who we saw.
Yeah.
But our script was already really long. I think I edited out 8 minutes of
Wow.
that. We'll have whole scenes on the DVD, which sometimes we don't have, but this time there'll be whole scenes on the DVD. Extra scenes that I just had to cut out because I didn't have time. But the one we had written originally had a music teacher named Mr. Oxaby, which means they're going to skewer me if I get this wrong. But I think it's the two wolves in French or something like that. But actually was my TA friend of mine at UC Davis. And
Wow.
Yeah, it totally worked out. And he plays upright bass. So we had him, and we had a whole scene where he died, and that kind of got changed just
The
in the
piano
notes.
like attacks him. And,
Yeah, in the
some
notes
crazy
process,
stuff.
it got changed. He was another sacrifice. He was one of the teachers. So we still have the teacher dying, but now we just have Lydia in it. But when I saw that, we wrote the scene, and when I saw the footage, we had just come off watching a entire showcase of Twin Peaks at USC.
I love Twin Peaks.
So like for the last 4 months, we have watched Twin Peaks and listened to things. So like David Lynch and Twin Peaks was really on my radar, and I said, Laura, I need something really weird, some really weird music, and it's Scandinavian of some sort. I don't even know what the title means. It's by a band called Mum. That's the weird one that's like doing the little weird vocals.
I need to download that.
Yeah, it's great, and I like played it really long, and I have that really long shot, and I was, and we had written it weird, and then it had been shot weird. And then I edited it weird, and I was just like, I just wanted to feel a little bit like a David Lynch moment. And I mean, of course, like that's reaching for the stars. But if you thought it was a little weird, that's all I really wanted.
It was weird.
I loved
I'll
it.
give you that it was weird. 'Cause I was like, yeah, I'm glad I'm not in band class anymore.
I have a note here that it was my favorite scene, so it worked
Totally good.
brilliantly.
I also spent 4 years in high school band, and it was a nightmare.
I was in middle school band.
Yeah, I was also in middle school.
I was a
band.
drummer.
Yeah,
Another
that's cooler. That's cool. I was a trumpet. Yeah,
another little
I was
piece
a
of trivia
flautist.
there.
Of course you were. Look
Trivia.
At, look at your hair. Look at her hair and her
Is that
posture.
fluting hair?
There's flutes.
fluting hair.
I still see the flute there, actually.
Bring it in next
Actually,
week.
Keahu, when he has his little trumpet, and he plays the trumpet a little later in the season, there's a spoiler. Ooh, big spoiler.
Ooh, big spoiler, guys.
He brought it out, and I was like, "You're not holding it. You have to hold it like this."
And you're like, I know.
Let
I
me
will know.
use my knowledge.
Did he actually play in high school?
No, he didn't. But he.
But you did.
But
She was
his, but I
instructing
did.
him.
Taught him.
Yeah, I was not very good.
But you tried playing again, and you could
You
still.
can add that to your
I
list
could
of
play
jobs.
taps.
Yeah, you could
Right.
do taps.
Music teacher,
Right.
writer, editor.
Yeah, right.
So many talents.
So many.
No, I mean, this was really like you guys' episode, and it's great that you got to be involved in all those different processes
Yeah.
because, writers really hate it when their work gets edited. So you were the one in charge of that. Can you kind of talk about that and struggle, perhaps?
Well, I mean, we still got edited in the writing process. I mean,
Right.
the show's creator is the show's vision. I mean, Jeff Davis is. I mean, he's the man.
Yes.
And it's his show, and he makes things awesome and often better. So I can't be mad about that. But he as a writer was still like our words. But no, his words are amazing. So, but. Yeah, it's fun. I kind of switched the schedule around when I saw what episode we'd be writing. I was originally supposed to edit the first episode, but I switched it around so I could edit the second episode and the fourth episode because I wanted to edit what we did, which I thought was really fun.
You're like, ha ha ha.
Move the schedule
see what I
around.
Is that a spoiler? Are you the only one who knows that happened?
Oh no! I was
I'm
like,
just
no.
kidding.
I also was.
This
I
was
also,
maliciously done.
Yeah, no, I was also just tired, and the first episode's really hard. So Ed did a great job, and I didn't have to do that whole motorcycle thing. So I'm glad Ed got that instead of me.
Oh, by the way, I really loved going back to other scenes from other episodes. The ice bath scene with Isaac. Thank you.
That
You're
was great.
welcome.
I was also
I also edited that.
She
Yeah,
also
that's actually
edited
one
it.
of my favorite acts of anything I've ever done.
Wow.
And not just because Isaac is an angel, but because it was just a lot of fun to do. And
To torture him. I mean,
it's a lot of, we do treat that boy badly.
yes.
Now those were like plastic ice cubes, right?
Were they?
Probably
Well,
warm water.
not the whole time. Like when he did the first step in, that was ice, so that was genuinely. And then they had him in warm water for. I mean, he had to film for hours, so you can't like. But then they
Can't
did
freeze
add,
him to death.
They did add real ice for some of those close-ups, and some of that shaking that he's doing is genuine. I mean, he did a great job. And then we reshot some stuff too, so he had to endure
He's
that.
like, great. I'm so glad we have to do this again, right?
But he did a fantastic job. Everybody did a fantastic job in that scene. I love it.
Now, going back to the sacrifices and the Druids, how much research goes into all this writing that you guys do?
Do you want to talk about D&D?
You can break out the monster manual.
Well, we did. Okay. A lot of research goes into it. I mean, we do real research. It's all real research. But, you know, all of us writers, like, read about Druids, and Jeff loves that kind of stuff anyhow.
too,
like,
yeah.
one of my favorite parts about Teen Wolf is, like, it'll stop down for a second to teach you a fact.
That's what I love too.
Yeah, Jeff loves that. And because he likes to learn. And
Like
he likes to...
Pareidolia, you know?
Yeah, he's
Learn
like
about
An
pareidolia.
allegory of McCarthyism.
mine, that was-
Allegory
Jeff.
of McCarthyism.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Exactly
Derek,
right.
you didn't know Derek was, like, studying up, you
I know, I
behind the
was like,
scenes, right?
I got a lot of flashbacks to that book. I was like, the crystal, yes, wow, you're smart. Nice fact.
But the Lindo man, I mean, I remember that had just actually, and I'm gonna, that research was not that long ago. Like that was like in Scientific American a couple years ago, I think. I don't even really remember. I'm probably misquoting, but you know, they had done some new research on the bones, and they found all that. So.
The nice thing about Druids, too, is as much research as you can do, there's really not that much information available
Yeah.
for them, so you are kind of free to...
They did a lot of oral history, so
lot of
not a
oral
lot of
histories.
writing, not a lot of writing down, which I think is mentioned. I think Stiles mentions that they
Stiles
didn't
mentions
write a
that.
lot down, and it's true. So you know, we extrapolate, and of course we add things
You
to make
can
the
bend
story.
it a
it's
little
a TV
bit.
show, you know.
And also we did, you know, like I'm not saying I ever played a druid in Dungeons and Dragons years ago, but like this nerd might have.
No, I was always half-elf warriors. Come on.
That's awesome.
My bow skills.
line here.
In D&D,
provision.
there's a druidic class, and like the idea is you're supposed to be true to nature. They actually can. Oh my God, I'm such a.
They have to be
geek.
neutral.
They can be neutral. They have to be able to try to keep things in balance. Like and they can shapeshift and stuff. So I might have brought some of this knowledge into the writers' room and shared it, and then had to whatever. D&D's cool.
I like it. I'm a fan. More knowledge about this
Yeah.
stuff, the better. It makes the show.
Where did the
I'm wearing my-
mistletoe come from?
Well,
Is-
the mistletoe actually was found in the
Lindo Man.
The Lindo Man. So
Oh, okay.
it's right out there.
Yeah, I think that actually was part of the druidic elements. I don't think not all the druids were killing.
Well, there's a
people,
whole
but-
thing with mistletoe and oaks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were sacred. They were sacred plants too.
That's so interesting
the
because
peoples.
the fact of like mistletoe is a weed nowadays. So
Yeah.
it's
Well, it
like
grows
categorized.
on. Grows on.
It's a type of fung. I just hate to say these things when they're on the internet because then like everyone's like, oh,
You're technically wrong.
yeah.
I'm
and
sorry
I
if
am.
I'm
we,
technically
I totally
wrong.
am.
We have a caller on the line, I believe.
What?
Caller on the line with the AfterBuzz TV Teen Wolf podcast.
Caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hello, caller.
Hello?
Caller.
Do you know a lot about
I guess
mistletoe?
they disconnected. I don't know.
They got scared.
Oh, here they are again.
Oh, here they are. Okay.
Caller on the line with Teen Wolf AfterBuzz TV.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you from?
And they disconnected again. All right.
Okay.
Oh, maybe if it's the third time, they're the third sacrifice.
That could be.
We'll not answer again.
We sacrifice
Okay.
callers.
Well, caller, you can tweet us at AfterBuzz TV. You can tweet me at Cinematic Escape on Twitter. I have it up right now. Let me read one person's tweeting at us.
Are they talking about gauntlets of giant strength?
They said
They're probably critiquing our middle mistletoe.
Ash says, was Deucalion kidding when he said he was the demon wolf? What does that mean?
What does that mean? I don't know. I guess, you'll have to wait
I
and
think
find
he's
out.
pretty badass. I think we're safe to say that he's pretty badass. Like, he has I think he has a strong sense of self.
I mean, I want to ask you, Ash, were you not listening? I mean, he is the apex of apex. He is
predators.
And he has control
he
over
is the
lightning.
alpha of alpha.
We gotta take the lightning away from the directors. That's all I'm telling you.
I love it.
No, I liked that. I was
was kind
waiting
of
for him
awesome.
to shift, though. Like, you guys leaving us hanging on his full shift, I was like, shift.
Yeah, no
He's
kidding.
the destroyer
Right?
of worlds. I
What
wrote
does he
it all
turn
down.
into?
You know what? The Destroyer of Worlds is a quote from Oppenheimer about
Quoting the Bhagavad Gita.
about nuclear war.
There you
nuclear
go.
bombs.
Fun fact.
Not
Good to
war, but
know.
bombs.
Okay, and then Inez says on Twitter, Scott taking over as alpha little by little. This might be what causes Derek to kill him instinctively. I don't think that Derek's going to kill anyone.
Really?
You don't, huh?
Okay,
He's killed his brother.
His brother.
His uncle, I mean. His uncle.
Yeah, his
Not
uncle.
brother.
yeah,
His uncle.
you know what?
His uncle was a jerk.
His
though.
uncle was a jerk.
Yeah.
I'm
kinda
not
needed to
sure.
happen.
He needed to die and be
But-
brought back to life, but to die.
Guys, I just want to say one thing. Don't forget you can support AfterBuzz TV by going to iTunes or YouTube, downloading, rating, or commenting on the show. And if you'd like to join the conversation, you can call us, our fan line at 424-256-1729. You can also join our live chat at AfterBuzzTV.com. And some of our comments, More Aaron says, remember the girls were visualizing horrible things before they got taken. I think Deucalion can project visions onto other people, so he most definitely could be connected to the sacrifices for some reason.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Could be. He's got
Interesting
that
point. I
weird
don't say I
eyesight. He's got
agree.
that
Yeah.
weird eyesight.
So maybe he can project visions. I like that. BX Girls HS says, this season has surpassed my expectations. The music for this show is awesome!
Sweet.
Well,
Exclamation marks.
how high were her expectations to begin with? Because if they were, like really low, then okay. But
I'm
if they were
guessing-
high expectations, then all right.
I
we'll take it.
understand what
Let's
she
be
means because
positive about
yeah.
this. I think her expectations were
were-
up here.
Where
and
writers, positivity and writing don't
Do not,
necessarily
yeah.
go hand in
We've
hand.
got, as
Like,
writers, you have to manage your expectations. It's a-
depression and drinking go hand in hand with writing.
I think from
Self-loathing and, yeah.
This is why the show has suicides and sacrifices and killings, in case you were wondering.
she also says, I like Derek is getting a love interest, but in the end, I think she's supernatural. And I agree.
Oh, do you?
I really
She's
think-
supernaturally hot.
She's a super teacher.
You think the
And
teacher's super...
scholar.
Well, but
She's so
weren't
scared
they
looking all
talking
the
about
time.
sacrifices when they're talking about all the different categories? I'm going to take a drink of Diet Coke here.
Sacrifices.
I'm not
I'm
going to
not
agree with
sure.
you on this one.
You
She
don't
looks-
think that the English
she looks
teacher
so
is
frightened, and
super-
she's always alone.
She's
Like, that's-
spend a lot of time alone.
She's in the victim category in my mind.
She was putting up the fences with Derek. I'll say that. And she doesn't want to get close to anyone. So, hey, you never know.
And neither does Derek.
You know what? He was softer to her, though, which surprised me because.
She's super hot.
Yeah, but he doesn't normally go out of his way and show his soft side, you know?
Yeah, it's sweet, isn't it?
Love
Yeah.
interest.
I mean, shows a soft side by throwing a glass at Isaac's head. The sweet part of him. What did you think about that scene? Because there's been a lot of internet buzz about that whole thing.
I mean, I took it as him being protective, and he wants him to go so he can save him. It's that whole pushing someone away to keep them safe. So, I thought it was sweet and nice and what needed to happen. And obviously Isaac can't understand because that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's when you tell someone, you don't love them, even though you do, to protect them.
This is the
Make
second
complete sense
time
to me.
Yeah.
that Isaac has been rejected by a family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what, Derek? It just takes a little bit of communication to help everyone understand the situation.
But if
So-
people communicated properly, nothing would ever happen on TV. You know what I
true.
mean? If people
But
just were
also,
honest with their feelings.
Derek isn't the type to sit down and be like, Isaac, let's talk. There's a really bad demon wolf who wants me to kill you, and so I just need you to go chill with Scott for a while. That's not really his style. His style is to I need to scare the crap out of you,
Yeah.
So you go away and get away from me because I'm too dangerous.
Yeah.
And information
Right.
can be dangerous.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if he really told him everything, he's putting him more in the line of
Right.
fire because then he knows.
Exactly.
Because
To
then
keep him
Isaac would try to
behind-
get like a chainmail scarf maybe to protect himself or something.
or he'd go trying to
Chainmail
fight
scarf.
for his
I do like his
alpha.
scarves on the show.
You like the scarf?
I do like the
It's
scarf.
so British.
I just want to go back to our topic for one more minute before we move on. But so this whole like the Druids and
Yes.
the Gaelic language, I really think that a lot of people, they misinterpret the Bible and then they go a little crazy. So I think that whoever's doing this is just perhaps a misinterpretation of what the Druids were doing and their plans. And
Yeah, they totally only killed people for good reasons.
absolutely.
Right.
Everyone only kills people for good reasons
Right,
in their
yeah.
own
In their own
mind.
mind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Mr. Harris, the science teacher, he uses a different grading scale than we're used to, and
Yes.
I would expect no less from Teen Wolf to have their own grading scale. And
This paper is rated R.
we get that it is, I have it here, Duroc, which is like the dark oak.
Yes.
When someone has gone down the wrong path. And we get that scene with him in the end where he was clearly helping this person.
And we even kind of got a foreshadow of that with the fact that he could spell out what the name was. Like, for me, that was like a hint. Like, how would he know what it's called unless he was tied in?
Well,
Is he just so smart that he knows?
No, that actually, if he's a victim, he's a sacrifice. So that was actually probably, I mean, I'm going to let you interpret your own way, but that might have been him seeing something like the other victims had maybe.
That makes sense.
Could be. I mean, he's
Maybe
into all kinds of
seen-
hijinks over the
Yeah, that
past,
guy's a jerk. I mean,
past
he's
years.
like,
He should stick
he
to
helped Kate
raids.
with the fire, and
I feel like you
then-
guys don't miss him too much.
Well, like
He represents like your worst teacher that you, if you ever had a bad teacher. So having him dead, no, I didn't. It sort of was a, it's like a.
You were living out some, high school memory.
He did make them clean the janitor's closet. How dare he?
how dare you?
He also helped Kate burn down the Hale house. By the way, yeah,
He needed to go.
yeah.
Do-
And I showed up at teenage raves.
yeah, who does that? What kind of teacher are
Yeah,
you?
he's creepy.
I think all the teachers are a little suspicious.
Right.
I mean, we got Miss Morell. She's hanging out at the bank vault, running into Allison. We got.
I'm suspicious of Coach Finstock.
Yeah. What's that guy's
suspicious
issue?
of
He's
Coach.
checking out the locker rooms, boys, telling them to get in shape, and they're clearly in shape. Thank you for that scene as well.
You're welcome.
But we get that. Do you guys? I can only really ask her. But do you think the killer is someone we know in town? And will this Druid killer be like Jackson and the Kanema in that it's one of their friends and they don't want to kill them, they want to help them?
In
What
my
do you
mind,
think?
I don't think it's a friend. I think it's someone older.
Do we know them yet in the show?
Possibly. I'm not sure. But I just get the vibe that it is not one of the high schoolers. I think it's someone older. Just because they've mentioned so much, like the wisdom and the philosophers and all of that, that in
Are you
my
calling
mind-
high school students dumb?
No, I was a high school student.
Okay, I'm saying.
I was brilliant.
was smarter
Have
in
you
high
met
school.
Lydia? She's genius.
I think our audience is very smart.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Drawing parallels from last season, Gerard was controlling the Kanema, so I think Deucalion could be controlling this person that's making the sacrifices. Who knows? I think that it's separate, but he's
know.
there for a bigger reason. You guys know.
Oh, sorry.
Are you sharing with us? Is that what you're saying?
But I'm just not sure if whoever's doing it they're obviously not working alone, and is someone controlling them?
While I think that you're right that they could possibly be tied to Deucalion, I don't think they're tied to the entire Alpha Pack, just because, in my opinion, the twins really did look shocked. So I think that I don't think they're working alone either. I'll agree with you on a lot of those points then.
Okay,
I guess we're on the same page.
good.
that
Okay,
mean we're right?
Let's talk about trouble with the twins.
All right.
So we get the pranks, Ethan and Aiden, and running some pranks, trying to get Danny in trouble, but he just gets detention. And then we see the reverse later, and Scott pulling out the parts. I loved that.
Isaac in trouble, not Danny.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
you're right.
Yeah, Isaac. Thank you. Fans would have screamed at me.
Right.
I would have gotten brutally the threefold death on Twitter. We'll have to figure out what that is.
Yeah, just said that's right.
But I would have gotten sacrificed on Twitter,
Yeah.
for sure. And then I like that reverse we get, where we get the reverse prank
Yeah.
of with the bike in the school,
Right.
and he actually gets suspended. So they won, and I liked how Scott was pulling out the parts and was like, "This looks important."
Yeah, it's a fun scene. It was
Very
a fun scene.
The comic relief.
We enjoyed. I remember when Jesec and I were writing that scene. Jesec actually took the first pass of that, writing that scene, and he was like,
"Oh, it was great." He was like smashing in through lockers and knocking down trophy cases and
doing
just going
like
crazy.
wheelies, and I was like
laying a strip down the entire.
I said,
So
Jesec, we make a show on a very tight budget, very tight budget. I said, if Jeff reads that, his head is going to explode because Jeff's a show creator and the writer, but he's also a producer. He knows all about the budgets. Yeah. I said, don't even let him read that. Don't even know you were thinking that. Just like have him go down the corridor.
So it's like the bike turns a corner and
they do a nice job. And that song is so badass.
Yeah,
it was.
The Bloody Beetroot song is so badass.
And I believe that was Chris Targio who was on the bike, right?
He was.
And we had him on the second episode to
crazy
join us.
Australian stunt people.
That was a lot of fun. That was actually the first day that I went out to set was when they were shooting that scene.
Wow.
And got to see the bike go down with the rig and everything.
Yeah, it was
and him doing
really
the flip, doing the flip over the twin.
Fun
That was
day.
kinda fun stuff.
That was exciting.
times.
And then Deucalion punishes the twins with one flick of his wrist, which was pretty good, not being able to see and all.
Oh yeah, he's got really good accuracy. It's like he's practiced that a lot or something.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It's his disciplinary tool.
Yeah.
And we
Common
get
practice.
that moment with Isaac where he's claustrophobic in the room because of his past. And I'm like a lot of us, we have these dark moments from our childhood that the trauma never really leaves us, and we can see that in him.
Absolutely.
And I really liked that moment. Teen Wolf is dark.
Poor Isaac.
He is. I mean, he's probably the most. I don't know about the
Tortured.
most damage, but I mean.
Derek's got some baggage.
Yeah, but that's an extreme. I mean, Derek's whole family died, but I don't feel like he had a terrible childhood. I don't feel like his mom abused him, but Isaac has had. I mean, that's a really traumatic thing to happen to you, and unfortunately, there's real life cases of stuff like that happening, which is horrifying.
Right.
But the fact that
when you think he finds a place where he's safe and
and then
some
Derek
buddies.
Kick him out, and then he's going to other people.
But yeah, no,
and you're
that's a pretty. I mean,
torturing
it's
the kid.
kind of like. I mean, that's a kind of serious scene. I mean, we have fun with it. I like to edit that stuff. I mean, I'm kind of dark anyhow, and I enjoy it. But it's a serious scene. I'm like, I always feel bad for the kid. I get a little tear in my eye, and then just
keep twisting
twisting
that
And then you
knife,
put him in the ice bath.
Yeah. It doesn't last long. My sympathy. Yeah.
I like that moment in the end where Isaac turns to his last friend, to Scott, and you can see that he's going to ask to stay under his roof, which I took to kind of be asking to be part of Scott's pack. I kind of saw that a little further. What did you think?
I was getting the same vibe, and I felt like you could feel that even a little bit earlier in the episode when he gets out of the closet and it's Scott that holds him down and says his name and gets him to snap out of it. So I feel like they are already having this friendship bond that's been growing. So I think it could be an easy, well, not exactly easy transition, but he could be accepted into Scott's pack. Although Scott needs to be more alpha in my mind. I think he really needs to own his alpha.
He's getting there slowly. Character development. We need to see the arc over. We have lots of
only
episodes.
episode 4. We'll see what
it's only
happens.
episode
It's all
4.
happening.
A lot can happen in 8 more
I watch
episodes.
and I'm like, let's go. But then I love that I don't get to know everything because it keeps you going. But it's the same as I mentioned with like Deucalion shifting. It's like when I'm watching it, I'm like, come on. And then it doesn't happen. I'm like, but then you get excited for the next time because you're like, maybe this time.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Always on the edge of our seats. But let's get into our last topic before we have our interview with Alyssa and Jesec. Surprise! What? I was trying to tell you, but then the music came on.
Oh, okay.
So we have the Demon Wolf, aka Deucalion's plan. And you know what? He's on a star search and he is discovering new talents.
True.
This is the tryouts. And that would be an awesome spin-off, like tryouts to be part of Deucalion's
Do you have to be
pack.
impaled the entire time? 'Cause
That's part of it.
That's a really
I
terrible.
imagine it being more sort of like American Idol, where you just have really bad, werewolf candidate, where alpha candidates come in.
Yep.
Like the little dangly one. Like,
Yeah.
I want to help
They
you.
can't even do one shirtless push-up or something.
Oh yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
you can't be an alpha.
Can't be
then.
an alpha.
What I want to know is
That's a pull-up, by the way.
do these alphas have special abilities? Like Collie, she's always like barefoot and she's a kickboxer. And the twins, they're obvious, and I'm not sure what Ennis does.
Ennis has
huge.
superhuman, amazing arms.
Huge.
Okay.
Have you seen those guys?
He's
I
just
have.
enormous.
I'm scared.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was just, I know he's on the star search, and now I'm like, okay, what's everyone's, specific abilities?
Right.
And
We got a lot
It's
of
like
info.
the Injustice League almost. It's sort of.
I kind of see, in my opinion, I think that Deucalion is wanting everyone to kill their pack and become part of his big alpha pack, but then, you know, patterns repeat. And you think this too. And you can't say if we're right or not, but I really think that he wants to then kill his alpha pack and become
That's what I think.
something even bigger than the demon wolf.
Once a demon wolf, always a demon wolf? Is that what you're saying?
I think it gets bigger than the demon wolf. I think it just keeps going.
Maybe it's too big to handle, though.
Yeah,
There's
but
a certain point where I
What's
think you
beyond demon? Like archdemon?
I don't
Satan
know.
wolf?
I would have to pull out my Fiendfolio to
yeah,
find
okay.
that out.
I don't
Beyond
know,
demon
but
wolf.
I'm expecting it. And you know what? I think they should be worried because he told them, you know, he wants Derek to kill one of his pack members because then he'll realize, you know, you get faster, you get stronger, and then you'll just want to keep doing it. I won't have to, you know, encourage you to do it.
It's like
I love
it's
those-
like werewolf meth.
It's an addiction. Yeah,
Yeah.
werewolf
I
meth.
was going to go like eating a Pringle or something.
I love that.
Just one.
You go to Pringles and I go to meth.
Yeah.
There you go.
That says a lot about the characters we have. Writers.
Did we mention she's dark?
I will have to say I loved the storyline though about the parts being part of the whole, and just how that concept has kind of tied through with all of the werewolf nature of like how their pack grows and their strength grows, and how that's transferring into alpha pack, and also just like the little details like how the alpha's injuries will last longer than a normal werewolf's. All of those make the show so much better because it's the detail that like makes it count, and so I really liked that. But I'm completely with her. I think that he's like has a plan to kill all these alphas.
And I don't get why they didn't think of that and why they're not thinking of that. You know, when he clearly told them he killed off his pack, do you really want to join up with this guy now? Hello.
But he's kind of hot. I mean, you know, it's like he's super hot. Like, you know, have you never dated you never had a bad boyfriend? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And also his
I'm kinda over
options
that.
are pretty much like
Well, they might
join
just
or
not be
kill
over it
you.
yet.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're
Like
not
it's
left
kill
with.
you in the beginning.
You're not
so.
left with much of a choice, are you?
You have a
Right.
chance to
Yeah.
be powerful
Yeah.
for a while, even if that's not crossing your mind, versus having a pole in your spine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I kind of see Scott, you know, he's obviously not going to fall for this, but I see him drifting away from Stiles, and, like, he is kind of forming his own pack here with Isaac. So what do you think's going to happen there? Do you think he's losing touch with Stiles and Team Human, and he's forming his own pack, and do you think that he'll kill someone to become more?
I don't think that Scott would kill any of them just to become more powerful. Like, he's been such a strong, like, moral, like, character in my mind, where
Absolutely.
he's always, like, trying to fight for, like, the right decision and trying to save people and standing up for them when they're in trouble. So I don't see him killing anyone for the reason to become more powerful. Maybe to save someone else, he could kill someone, but not for the same motives that, like, the Alpha Pack has. At least in my head. But I do know what you mean. I feel like he's still trying to be like neutral ground. Like when he was talking with Stiles and Isaac about like about the sacrifices, and like they were asking him to kind of side with one of them.
Right.
He kind of is still walking that tightrope of, well, I don't know, and you could be right too, and I'm just gonna take my time and think about this.
She's pretty smart.
And so he's
But if you notice,
And
they were on...
by smart, I mean like
you're playing
you
with my
understood our
head and
simple
talking.
writing. So
Yeah, and I like where the characters were placed in the scene, because you have Scott in the middle and you have Stiles on one
Right.
side and Isaac on the other. So it's like he's in the middle right now. Okay, so now, guys, I would like to get into our interview with Alyssa and Jesec.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, guys, I'm always interested in how aspects from our childhood lead us into specific careers. What from your childhoods would you say contributed to you choosing to be in the industry?
Well, so my mom named me Jesec Griffin because she wanted me to be a writer. So it was kind of,
That was set in stone.
that was kind of set in
You
stone.
popped
You
out
were-
and you were
Yeah.
like, give me a pen.
Yeah.
You were born with a bias of a pursuit.
Yes.
did I mention the self-loathing and like I don't know.
Well, I think everyone who becomes a writer starts as a reader at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And if you, I guess maybe there's probably someone out there that can prove that they're a writer without being a voracious reader. There probably is, but I've never met them. Like, I don't know how you learn without reading other things. So
Were you guys always, this is just, I guess, a personal interest question for me, because, like, I love to write, but I'm always scared of other people reading my writing.
Absolutely.
100%.
Welcome
to the club.
being a writer,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, I was really wondering, how do you guys, like, deal with those obstacles, like, when you first present someone with your work? Like, what's running through your mind?
Bourbon?
Yes.
Okay, good note. Okay.
Yeah.
Stock up on bourbon when you get
Yeah, and
home.
let's, depending on, your what you can afford and your budget, and like, let's go above Maker's Mark a little bit. Let's, if you really make it, go to the Pappy Van Winkle, but that's just for special occasions. But, you can do a Michner's rye, maybe some rye. That's really popular right
Writing
now.
equals drinking.
Yeah. For a
Yeah,
lot of people,
not for
yes.
everybody.
It seems to be a common theme.
Go ahead, Justin.
I would
You can answer
say,
seriously.
it helps to have an advocate, a buddy. Like, if you have a teammate, someone who can sort of be there for you, because not just to be someone you can bounce ideas off of, but someone who will, encourage you and be a safe place for you to take your ideas. So we kind of provide that for each other.
Yeah,
We're a
absolutely.
team,
That's great.
But even, it doesn't have to be your partner. It can be, it could be your mom. It could be, someone else.
Don't be your
Don't take your ideas to your mom, though.
No, I mean, you can tell her, but your mom better like it. If your mom doesn't like it, that doesn't tell you anything about
Well,
your
your mom can be like your first one, and then you can, then you find
If
a
she
schoolmate.
doesn't like it,
Yes.
though, maybe choose another career, because your mom should love everything you do.
Or your mom has been trapping you in an icebox. One of the two, yeah.
Since you guys were talking about that, how you bounce ideas off each other, and I know you work together on several other projects and Teen Wolf, is there something right now that you're currently working on together as a side project?
We have actually, we write in a 3 sometimes.
Yeah. So we
have
write
it
solo, we write as partners, and then we write.
as a 3. It
As a
depends on
3.
what we're
It's like
doing.
a triangle formation.
Well, it's like a Scandinavian triad because he's Swedish, I'm Finnish, and our partner Marcus Ashley, whose song was actually in episode 2 because he's actually a singer with his wife, Little and Ashley. They're very talented. He is Norwegian, so we're like
Ooh, fancy schmancy.
I know, and they were from
Sunscreen.
Minnesota, and we actually have we are constantly doing stuff. I don't have time right now, but we have done it before, and Jeff Davis is supposed to be looking over our outline at the moment for a horror movie
That's
that
so exciting.
that I pitched to him last year, and so we wrote it up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's fun. I mean, by fun, I mean people die.
And it's very dark.
And
and,
it's,
yeah.
it's super fun.
And
So
would
we'll
you
like it.
edit it?
I don't know.
If you had time away from Teen Wolf,
Yeah, I have a
perhaps.
lot of Teen Wolf ahead of me, so I don't know if I'm going to be time to doing anything else. I don't know. Maybe it'd be fun to edit it if I wrote it and edit it. I wouldn't want to write and direct and edit. I don't think that would be a good idea.
But you have a lot of friends who are editors as you came through, and we have a lot of
Yeah,
talented
yeah.
editor friends that we would also go to.
Yeah. But we'll see how it goes.
Do you guys have a specific place or time of day that you guys try and come up with new ideas for writing, or any place you find yourself in the car with your friends? Where do you get your best ideas?
The shower.
That's what I was going to say.
It's actually true. A lot of the ideas that we've ended up developing have come from her. So I was in the shower yesterday, and this idea just came to me. And we're
It comes out
"Oh."
of the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of stream, or when I get up, I did this in the writers' room recently. I was thinking, I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I came out of the bathroom like, I have a pitch. So I think it's just it gives your brain a time to shut off for a while.
Maybe
and
it's the echoing in there.
It could
just
be
hear,
echoing. Yeah, and then we write. I like to write at night. Some writers definitely like one of my heroes, Stephen J. Cannell, who did tons and tons of TV, like the A-Team and everything, who passed away, unfortunately. He was talking about he used to get up at 5 a.m. and he would do this really regimented thing. I like to write from about midnight to 4 a.m. is my favorite time to work. It's quiet.
Maybe that's why you do horror a lot.
Yeah, I could say a lot about me. But,
Butterflies at that time.
right. I just like it. I like it best. I do so. Afternoon is good for me, and then night is the best for me. Jessic's a little different.
Yeah, I just write whatever I can. You can't really chase the muse. You have to sort of sit down and do it. So if you have time to do it, you have to put your butt in the chair.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this is if I can choose. If I'm doing something a little more casual. When you have a deadline, then you just kind of sit down and write. And
Yeah.
It's a job.
What would be your
good job.
advice,
It's a
your
job.
words of advice for people wanting to get in the industry, wanting to, write?
I would
Right.
say people who want to write when they want to, and people who are writers write.
Or shower. Take lots of showers. Lots of showers.
Hygiene is important.
That could also be, yeah, that's a good piece of advice for everyone.
Thank you guys for answering all those questions, and I'm sure we're going to get a bunch more that I'll possibly email you guys, all the Twitter comments and questions that our fans have. Let's go ahead and roll into predictions.
Okay.
We really did roll. Did you hear that?
That's nice.
I know you guys can't really give us too many
We're
predictions.
just going to stand here with her. Sit here with our
coffee.
water.
You know what? I like that little flash of Mrs. Argent, and I expect we'll see her haunting Allison's daydreams again. What do you think?
I mean, I agree with that. I think that Allison, it was very interesting seeing her be like the bad student this season. Like, she sleeping in class, like she's normally on top of her stuff. So I'm wondering why she's sleeping in class, why she's not getting enough sleep everywhere else.
She's a secret agent.
Whoa, that went over my head.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
But I feel like, you know, she's taking on this whole mission on her own. You know, so she's looking at everything on. She's not working with anyone. Even Lydia. I mean, I think they tried to paint her walls, but who knows if that ever got done. That was like their bonding period. But, you know, I think she's on her own mission. She's still getting over her mom, and now knowing, you know, what happened with her mom and why she really died and got the bite. I think she's just trying to process everything right now. She's in process
She's
mode.
doing something, though. I feel like there's something she's spending her time doing outside of school. And I hope that she stays a good student and doesn't fail out and take more.
Is that your own anxieties coming back?
I graduated. I'm good.
Good, nice job. So there was a tease of an Isaac and Allison relationship. How do you feel about that?
No, this is not okay. Friends should not date friends. It creates a lot of drama.
You know what, Isaac?
We wouldn't want any drama. We would not want any drama on the show.
We want drama, and you know what? Isaac needs a hug.
Yeah.
He needs some loving.
Possibly some
and
therapy.
Possibly some therapy. And when someone tries to kill you, you might like them because it's like hard love. It's like they didn't like you at first.
That's one way to definitely get into Scott's pack.
But now that they're getting to know you,
Go with his ex.
I think that, you know, sparks are going to fly. Something's going to happen. They were very close when she was wiring that bike for him.
I definitely felt that too. And even in the closet. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of moments. It worries me, though.
They were putting stuff
like this
away
guy
very
as a
slowly.
friendship.
They were spending lots of time in the janitor's closet, almost enjoying it. And Derek and Mrs. Blake relationship, yeah, I think that's going to happen.
Ms. Blake.
Miss Blake, that's right. She's not married. Also,
no fair. It's not that much
it's not
drama.
I'm on the second fold of death right now on Twitter. I got one more, and hopefully I got to speed through these predictions so I don't get killed. And yeah, I agree that she's supernatural. You know what? She knows. She's a language teacher. She's just new in town.
I thought she was an English teacher.
Yeah.
Language, English,
What?
Gaelic.
English is a language.
Gaelic, English, same thing.
I feel like you're with the French guidance counselor. I will say she is supernatural.
Yep, there's something going on with her, and you know what? She needs to work it out with Allison. They need to talk about that, or else she's just gonna, she's just gonna keep putting her in detention. Did you have any other predictions you wanted to throw out there?
Besides that's going to be a cat fight.
Nope, that's good. I just want to say thank you for a couple more guys on YouTube and Twitter. Dark Sunlight on iTunes, Stephen B on Twitter, Sapphire. We had Nerdy Success, Evil Twins, Peter, Cinead Williams, Baru, Kanargan, Salma, David from Italy, all really loving the after show, loving you guys coming on here. So appreciative of the inside information.
I love the Italy thing. We met a Teen Wolf fan when we were in Italy in November. Great. It was sweet.
There are so many of them.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And they love Teen Wolf.
Italy rocks.
Thank you guys again so much for joining, and I hope to see you guys again soon, and thank you for all the inside information. I'm Cinematic Escape on Twitter, or you can bing my blog, Cinematic Escape. Where can we find you?
Here.
She's on AfterBuzz. What other?
On Sundays for True Blood.
Sarah doesn't have a Twitter. Do you guys have a Twitter? Where can we find you?
You can find me at Jesec, Jesec. It's not very exciting. I don't have a lot of time to tweet, but you know, if you follow me.
Do you have a website or anything else they could go to?
Go to JesecGriffin.com and see some of the voice stuff that I do.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook.
I am not on anything.
You're not nowhere.
We can be friends in the real world.
So tweet at Jesec. The question's also for Alyssa. Sure. Thank you guys so much, and join us next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.